All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Before we get started, this is a historic night. It's the first time we've ever had to Facebook live stream due to public not being able to come into meetings. So this is new territory for all of us. So bear with us. I know there'll probably be a little delay at home for you people that's watching this on Facebook Live. So I'll call the meeting to order and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Lynn, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Vanderwater? Here. Ms. Wozniak here. Mr. Pepper? Here. Ms. Goodman? Mr. Dzinski?
Here.
Ms. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here. I'm going to pause a little bit between each thing because I know there's a lag on the thing when we tested it yesterday. So, pardon me? Okay, yeah, there's quite a little lag. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 17th, 2020 regular town board meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Any corrections, changes,
It's been-
comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Supervisor abstains. Item number 1 is approval for National Grid to install a new street light on pole number 14 at the intersection of Ellsworth Road and Van Buren Road to go under the general town lighting account at a annual cost of $112.63. Entertain a motion to that effect.
Second that.
That's the pole right out here in the front yard out here. We've had a couple people say that the Ellsworth Road gets used a lot as a cut across. And at night, it is a very dark intersection, and they've had a hard time picking it up. So it probably does warrant a street light, there's no question. So, and this has been hanging since January when this started. So anyway, any more discussion on that?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is authorize up to $2,000 expenditure to gear up for live streaming town board and planning board meetings. I've got to add in there the BAR, the Board of Assessment Review on Grievance Day as well. Entertain a motion to that effect.
Moved.
I do have a comment. Is this something that's possibly reimbursable?
Yes, we're keeping track of all COVID-19 related expenses in case there's reimbursement coming at a later date. Did I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion? Yeah, we're tracking all the expenses, payrolls, anything we're buying, masks, gloves, sanitizers, everything. We're marking everything COVID-19 so we can go back easily track it. We're keeping a whole separate folder on it, so.
We started that even while Claude was out of town. Anything started way back then.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, approval of resolution approving paid leave for non-exempt hourly employees related to COVID-19 event. Entertain a motion to that effect.
Moved.
So just for clarification, could you give me an example of a non-exempt employee?
Kevin? Non-exempt employee.
I assume that this is basically for all employees, like office employees and such, that are not in the unions.
Yes.
And how many do we have?
Well, Lynn,
20?
Kate,
Kate, myself, Greg,
Jason.
Jason, these two over here,
No, they're in the union.
highways all in union,
Okay.
buildings and grounds all in, Kathy,
And Casey.
There is an admin rate though, right?
they got their full paychecks.
Right, so it's administrative. No one had to use any sick.
Right, no,
accrued time.
no. They were all on call, and we called them, they came in if we needed them to, everything, so. We've been advised that we probably should do this so it can't be construed that it was a gift of services. Did we get a second?
Yep.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is declare 2000 Ford Ranger with a long VIN number and a 2012 Toro mower, both a surplus, and send to auction. Entertain a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
As you know, we replaced the Ford Ranger and we replaced the mower, so these are declared surplus and send them on to the auction. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of intermunicipal agreement with Onondaga County Water Environment Protection Agency to provide maintenance services of public sanitary sewers and pump stations for the fiscal year 2020. Entertain a motion to that effect?
Moved.
Second.
This is an annual boilerplate thing we always do. The work they do this year won't be billed until next year. So we're always a year in arrears on these. This is so the county, wet people come out and troubleshoot any problems we have in sewers, whether it's the mains or the laterals, and advise the citizens of the problems. And Jason works with them hand in hand on these most every time. And manhole problems, whatever it may crop up, they take care of it. And we get billed for it, and then we apply it to the appropriate sewer district, so. Any other?
Any idea when they're gonna take over the system?
Probably whenever we say we're ready for them to.
I think that's kind of on hold for a while.
Yeah, I think
because
they
of
got
COVID.
bigger fish they're frying right now, so.
I knew that, I just didn't know if it was the next one.
I think that they'll go in order of the oldest and,
Most problem,
yeah.
most I coming in, they'll do those things first. I mean, they might not be opposed to us signing up next month, I don't know, but anyway. This is to get us through at least the rest of this year. And we may have to do this again for 2021, who knows, but how fast that whole thing will move with everything else that's going on, so. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 is authorize the engineer to expend $1,569 to repair a sewer pump in the Village Green Sewer District. Entertain a motion to that effect?
I'll make that.
I think you were all, we got a second?
Second.
I think you were all apprised of that situation. You were given paperwork on it a month and a half ago or so. I don't know if the parts are in yet or not. I'm not sure, but. Okay. So it needs to be fixed. This was the least expensive repair to get it by to the point in time where we do maybe shift over, so.
Jason, where is this being installed again?
It's at the end of Niblick Circle.
Oh, right.
It's actually, the access to it's off O'Brien Road.
Okay, that's right.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7 is consider resolution delegating to the town supervisor the authority to cancel and schedule town board meetings. Entertain a motion to that effect.
Mr. Supervisor, I would amend that to say retroactive and ratifying back to April 1st.
Okay.
I
Any-
didn't realize that wasn't already within your authority.
It might be.
It might be, but the Association of Towns in their magazine said you probably should do
Yeah,
it,
you
so.
referenced that, I just.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what is gonna unfold of this whole thing. We might have to cancel more meetings, we don't know, but,
But with proper notice, I mean, I just didn't think it needed,
right,
but
right. But, who moved that? You got any problems with what Kevin said?
No.
Amending? Okay. Did you get all that, Lynn?
I did, but you don't have a motion.
Okay, get a motion then.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Supervisor, the next one is actually 3 separate resolutions.
For each district?
One for sanitary, one for drainage, and one for lighting, and the resolutions were distributed, I think,
Yeah,
to everybody, so if we could do those in order, that would be helpful.
okay.
Why don't we do sanitary first?
Okay. Entertain a motion to reschedule the public hearing for Trey Brooks, Special Sanitary District for 7 PM on June 2nd, 2020.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. What's the next one?
Next one's drainage.
Drainage. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lighting.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And we're
What-
thinking on the second, that night, we can also address the developer agreement and the covenants that same night. And so, June 2nd, they'll walk out of here with all their approvals, if everything goes well.
And is that dependent upon them having their security deposits in?
Yes?
Yeah, they've got to jump through those hoops.
Mm-hmm.
And Claude, is that meeting going to be via Zoom as well?
That'll be a Zoom meeting at that,
So
because of the public hearing,
we will not be open to the public here?
unless something from Albany changes.
Okay.
I mean, he could increase the number from 10 people to 20, and then maybe we could have a real meeting, I don't know.
Okay.
But it'll still be done with Zoom, because that's the way it's been advertised now. So,
And we're probably, we'll accept written comments.
yeah,
for that.
yeah,
Yep, and accept written comments till the meeting after that.
right. Okay, item number 9, discussion action on requirement to install sidewalks along the west side of Krieger Road in local business zone. We had an attorney's office that's going in over there in an existing residential home. It's a zone local business, and it's allowable use in that district. The planning board had a requirement that they placed on him that he had to install sidewalks. There's been some discussion as to why do they need sidewalks. And it wasn't Tony that brought it up, it was one of his board members that brought it up. In that general area, we requested sidewalks from everybody that's gone in there in the last several years. And I know it was part of the Downer Street corridor study that was done to have sidewalks for conveyances for pedestrians in that area. So we gotta get an action from the board on whether or not they still feel it's a good idea to have sidewalks in where the planning board feels it's necessary. I, for one, think it should be in there. I know that the Kriegel farm eventually is gonna develop. The current people that live in the Comstock tract, I'm sure would like a conveyance to walk down to some of the shops and stores down there on Downer Street. And I just think that you gotta take the opportunity when it arises. I know there'll be some gaps in some sidewalks, but when those other properties develop or get a change in use, they'll have to come to the planning board, and that's when they'll be requested to put sidewalks in to fill in those gaps. So eventually, I don't know how long, but eventually there'll be sidewalks up through there. They'll probably service the Kriegel farm and Comstock tract. But if we don't start now, you're never gonna be able to require them in the future is the thing. And if we don't require it, it sets a precedent. How would we ever ask anybody in the future to put them in? So that's where I'm coming from on it. Looking for board input.
Well, I'm advocating for this new owner, and we did have a discussion about this, and I felt like I walked away from here with the board. I wasn't involved when we were doing the Downer Street corridor, and I felt like everyone agreed that the tone was not to require the sidewalks to go up Kriegel, only Downer Street. And certainly, we were looking at national chains such as Walgreens and Aldi's who had the pocketbook for that, not someone who is relocating a business from Lysander to Van Buren, who is, yes, he's an attorney, but he's, a sole practitioner. So I'm kind of disappointed that we're bringing it up again, because I thought after we discussed it, we were gonna have a recommendation sent to the planning board that they could put in there that if the county presses and wants that done, he would be held accountable to do that, but we didn't require it.
Well, the planning board chairman came to me and said, I need direction from the town board if they want to continue this practice or they don't. So that's why we're doing this. This is the first instance. We're going to, after this instance, we're going to send it to the land use committee so they can give guidelines as to where sidewalks need to be to the planning board and go from there. In talking with Tony, I said, if the town board votes to have these put in, is there any problem with waiting a couple years to allow them some time to save up the money to do it? And he says, no, the rest of it isn't gonna infill in the next couple of years, but he said, we've gotta have some time limit if you're gonna do it. And so, he suggested a couple years, give them a couple years, and we'd probably have to have a performance bond or a letter of credit to ensure that it gets done. And in the meantime, we'd give them a temporary CO or a contingent CO on putting the sidewalks in, and then when they're done, they'd be fulfilled, and he'd get his full CO, so. Tony didn't have any problem with that, so.
That is sort of the plan I was in favor of. I'm not looking to treat anyone differently, so to me, there is no difference between Aldi's and sole proprietor. One. Two, that was Downer Street corridor. Well, it did recognize some of the roads that came off of Downer Street. Until Crego gets fully developed, I just don't see making one business fill in the next little section of Crego. What if that never comes to fruition and Crego Farms never materializes? I just think that there was no need to make this individual or business put the sidewalks in now. I was okay with some sort of, you still will be required to do that, just like if you wanted to build a house just north of the fire department, you would be responsible for filling in sidewalk there if there's sidewalks going up. But there really isn't now. You can't really count the little section of Walgreens. So.
Well, I mean, the Comstock track people, if they walk down there, wouldn't have to walk in the road if there was some.
I do see people walking more and more now than they did years before. And when I do go down Krieger Road, I do see people walking down around the bend to come down to the McDonald's and whatever. I do see people using it.
But we're looking.
Potential use.
We're looking at the requirement now for this property. It doesn't have to be built right away. It could go 5 years. As long as we got a security or a bond or, letter of credit to ensure it's gonna get done is all. And then.
Just something that owner, I don't wanna call it lien, something that says that they're responsible for the sidewalk on their square footage.
Kevin, is there any other mechanism besides the letter
You
of
really
credit?
can't leave it amorphous. You can't just say, yeah, if there's some development someday up the road, you've got to put in your sidewalk. What you would do is say, you're required to put in your sidewalk, that's a condition of your approval, and you have X number of years to do it, and you must secure that you will do it by giving us a bond or a letter of credit. I would recommend, over a 5-year period, the price of the sidewalk could change considerably. If you're gonna do it that long, you probably are gonna need a larger security.
Right.
If you're gonna do it for a couple of years, that certainly gives the landowner enough time to save up to do the sidewalk. At the end of the 2 years, if he hasn't done it, you can take that security and the town can do it.
Right.
I just didn't see the advantage of forcing a sidewalk to nowhere at this point. That was just where I was coming from.
Well, is it contiguous now, at least at one end?
Not really. I mean, it starts to come up for about, I don't even know.
I think it comes just about to the property line.
50 feet.
That's
So.
it. I mean,
It's the old Laurel home, isn't it?
It may be,
I wondered,
yeah, maybe.
so it's up past that?
It's the first house right next door to Walgreens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it doesn't go up to the antique store?
You mean the
Hairdresser?
the hairdresser, then you
I don't know who's in there.
had the rescue mission used to be in there.
Used to be.
No, it doesn't go there. He's got 200 feet of frontage. He's got about 37 feet of driveway there now. Based on the prices we paid last year, and don't forget, we pay prevailing wage, it would be just under $10,000 if the town were to do it.
Now.
This year, yeah,
We were to do it now.
now. If he does it, he can do it without prevailing wage, which is usually a third more, so.
And we would not make him rip up the driveway to
No,
put in a
no.
sidewalk. That would
We
be
don't do it like the
ridiculous.
village does. The village makes them cross the driveway. I don't think that's the appropriate way. They can do what they want in the village. We make them butt the driveways. And so, because that's gonna be plowed anyway and maintained, we assume. So,
I bought that myself.
right. So anyway, that's, the price would be this year around $10,000. If we gave them 5 years, we'd probably need securities for 15 maybe, to make sure we were covered, if we ended up having to do it with prevailing wage.
What
I
what
would
you are
recommend
saying
that
is
you
to give
not
it a
do for
date.
5, you do it for something less than 5, like 2, would be a more reasonable amount. There's no way to just do it and say, hey, if they ever build someplace, you've got to put it in, because then he won't be able to do it then.
Right.
So, I think what you have to do is say it's required, we're gonna give you a couple of years to do it, in recognition, of your circumstances and the fact that those developments aren't yet built, but we know they are going to be built, so we'll give you a couple of years to save up to do that project, and if you're not done by those 2 years, we will take your security and the town will do it.
I know that there's question on the Kriegel farm about solar going in there. If it does, it'll be everything west of the High Line, the high tension wires that go down through there. It's between 690 and the High Line. They feel that might be harder to develop and get all the utilities over there due to the large high pressure gas main that runs through there and the right of way for the high tension power lines, so.
And the archaeology reports on all the Indian remains.
Yeah, I don't know what.
And it'll all be waterfront property.
You were probably there in the teepee, weren't you?
You ever see them?
I've got skeleton.
Oh, never grew back, huh, Howard? So, what's the board's pleasure?
As long as it gets done eventually. I don't-
As long as there's a time frame there,
We're not out
and
to
yeah,
punish anybody.
No.
We just want consistency.
Yeah.
that's all.
Maybe this person wouldn't have bought there if they didn't.
Well, the planning board, I don't know what meeting he was told that. Jason, do you know?
It would have been the February meeting, I believe.
Yeah, because I think we talked about it in March.
Yeah, it was the
I
March
addressed it
17th.
with you in March,
Correct.
and you knew exactly what I was talking about,
Yep.
who it was, what was required, and that it was I want to say it was a county recommendation.
It usually is.
It's a standard boilerplate usually on every one of their recommendations to make sure you don't forget sidewalks type thing, so. I mean, we required it down at Traybrook. We've required them to put it from their main entrance down toward the plaza down there in Seneca Knoll. So,
But also before he purchased, they purchased. You know, I mean, I just think that this.
yeah, well, I don't know when this guy purchased the property. I have no idea, but,
From what he said at the planning board meeting, it sounds like he's amenable to extend from the walls of the sidewalk to his driveway, so that people can walk to his office, to and from there, but the next 175 feet of frontage he has.
he's got he's got 200 total. He's 37 feet of his driveway, so.
Well, maybe that's the compromise,
Mhm.
that he goes to the driveway now,
Mm-hmm.
and that he needs to complete the rest of it within the next 2 to 3 years. I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
he's comfortable with.
Yeah, I would go to the driveway at this point.
Is that a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Within 2 years for the rest of
2
it?
years, he does the balance.
I'll stick with 2. I mean, again, yeah, construction costs will keep going up.
For
and
balance.
we'll eventually have to do it.
And what do you want for security? Letter credit or bond or just say security?
Do we have any precedent or?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
letter of credit, I guess.
Letter
is
of
what we
credit.
want.
Letter of credit is usually what we do.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're doing it right now with Traybrook, obviously on a different scale, but they're gonna have letters of
I
credit.
assume he's got credit with a bank. All they do is issue a credit for 9,000 or 10,000, whatever we,
Now's the time to borrow.
so.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't actually borrow the money. They just say that he's good for it, you know?
I'm just saying.
So it's, okay, so we got a motion to extend the sidewalk to the driveway now and within 2 years, put in the balance of it, less the driveway, with a letter of credit for security. Is that what everybody understood the motion to be?
In the amount
Yes.
of,
And letter of credit in the amount of, what do we want to say in 2 years, Jason? 12,000?
Are we sending a recommendation to the planning board?
Yes. In 2 years?
Well, it's only the balance of the rest of it.
Right.
That's true, if he's gonna do that this year, okay, 10,000, okay. $10,000, okay. Everybody understand the motion?
Yep.
Got a second?
I'll second.
Howard, did you second it?
Ryan?
I did.
Okay, Ron did, okay. Any more discussion?
Just on, we'll need to somehow standardize future properties on Rigo.
Well, this is why we're gonna charge the land use committee with looking at not just this area, but other areas in the town, given the planning board guidance and direction on where the land use committee thinks we need sidewalks. And that'll give us them some guidance and direction and, you know, the mechanism of how to do it. So that's another one for your plate.
Because until we have a developer for Rigo, it seemed a little cart before the horse, that's all.
Yeah, well-
It may never happen.
But if you don't do it now, and Crego does, then the town's building it, you know?
Oh, plus I think the carve-out is just as bad as not growing.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want like sidewalk, no sidewalk, yeah, but.
So, okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I, again, just want to go on record that it's disappointing that we had this conversation in March, and it seemed that everybody was on board with sending a memo to Tony that we would agree to it being a recommendation if the county insisted on it.
And that's not how I understood it either.
That's all I'm going to say. We can
Yep.
go on with the vote.
Then I will go on record as saying that my understanding was that we would ask the planning board to see if we could defer this.
Yes.
To see where Kriego was built out. I never was under the impression that it was going to be the county's decision to be made.
Yes, I'm under the same impression as,
Okay. Gonna call the motion now. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. Okay, item number 10 is discussion regarding future meeting is logistics. Tonight, we're doing Facebook Live. The 19th, May 19th meeting, we expect to be doing Facebook Live. On June 2nd, starting June 2nd, we'll be doing Zoom. And thereafter, until it may not be needed, or we decide we're gonna continue doing that regardless of what this virus is doing. So, Greg has been working on it, we gotta get a camera, subscription and some other stuff, and, we should be able to be up and running, by the 2nd for those public hearings. Anybody else got any questions on logistics of meetings? This is how, as long as social distancing is in effect, this is how we're gonna have to have the board meeting set up.
I'm surprised the phone isn't on from our current meeting.
The planning board, Tony and I has talked about how they're gonna have to operate. They think they'll have the applicants wait out in the parking lot in their car, and they bring them in one at a time. And Casey will escort them in, escort them out, and then call the next applicant in. He's got about 5 public hearings that he knows he's gotta have, so they all have to be televised, so that they've all gotta be done with Zoom. So the BAR, their calls to the grievance don't have to be televised, but when they deliberate and they give the reasons why they didn't raise things or lower them, or why they were left alone or they didn't lower them, those portions, there's 3 times during the day that'll have to be televised.
is
So
that
it's-
something new? Because we've
No,
never had people.
no, when you read it over, it was in his executive order that he issued about 2 weeks ago now.
Okay.
That they have to be televised, so, on the BAR stuff, so. So that's the, future meetings and logistics. Anyone got any questions on that stuff?
I think this setup works great. I mean, we're
Yeah,
all social distancing, no one's touching anything.
Yeah.
I think this works fine.
yep. Cameraman looks a little funny back there, but other than that, it's pretty good. I have a penciled in number 11, and it should have been on here. It's a resolution regarding reporting standard workday and service credit to New York State Retirement. Lynn, do you have who that pertains to?
Yes.
Yeah, you should have a full memo on it with resolution.
Yeah, it was for you and James Shazenbach
Oh, there it is, yeah.
and the board standard.
Amend that from mine?
I can't tell I have your login and figure out your,
Yeah, I got it.
you can do it for the next meeting.
Okay, it's for planning board and zoning board member Shazenbach and the town clerk and ZBA planning board. So we're gonna call it 6 hours a day, right?
That's the standard with her.
Okay, that's the standard workday. We're gonna report to New York State Retirement for those two. Ron, are you gonna do one?
No.
Okay, Howard will do yours probably next meeting then. Okay. Entertain a motion then to report 6 hours a day for those two people to New York State Retirement.
Moved.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Counselor Committee reports and comments, MF.
We have basically only done a little bit of discussion on the property maintenance, but at this point, nothing has been changed draft-wise, so we'll probably get back into it. We're hoping to do a meeting on May 19th at 3 o'clock, Lynn. It'll, obviously, because it's a committee meeting, it's got to be done. We'll either do it Facebook Live or Zoom if we want to, try it for that.
I'll be a little bit late for that meeting, but I'll be there.
Okay, well, we can postpone it till 3:30. Howard, is that okay with you? Sure. 3:30 then.
Sure.
Okay, that's it.
3:30 when?
The 19th, right before our.
Before the meeting,
Yeah.
okay.
And are you planning on doing it through Zoom or?
We can try it through Zoom if we have everything ready. If not, we'll just come back and do it Facebook Live.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Ron?
I would just like to thank everybody for bearing with us through these times that we're going through, and we're doing our best, and bear with us. Thank you.
I echo that, Ron. Wendy?
Let's see. Anything new with Cantonwoods? Because I know as of today, we haven't signed the agreement.
No, I contacted the mayor after I got back from vacation and said I realized that they're closed and will be till things calm down, but it would be nice if we could have this all ironed out before it reopens. And he said he would contact his attorney and get him on it. I haven't heard anything since.
Okay, and we still haven't made any payments?
No,
Okay.
no.
I had sent the request to you for, department reports or status while everyone was kind of doing their own thing. And I know some people on the board were not really thinking that was necessary, but I wanted to commend our department heads for the responses that they did send in. I thought they were very thorough, and it was exactly what I was looking for. So I want to thank our department heads for doing a great job taking care of the town and their specific departments during this crazy time. They've been handling everything on their own. I'm sure they're reaching out to you, and it's quite a crazy time right now, but they're doing a great job with it. So thank you for asking them for the reports. I did attend a Zoom meeting last night with a couple residents in Village Green and one in Senate Knolls regarding drainage issues that they had in their yards that have been continuing for a while. And I want to thank Jason for agreeing to meet with them again. And I just want to kind of reiterate to any residents out there who have any issues, please call Claude, anyone on the board, or Jason. I've heard some feedback that, oh, no one gets back to me, or we didn't get resolutions. That's not how Town of Van Buren functions. We get back to people. We give options. We give solutions if we can. So I really want to encourage anybody to reach out to the town if you have any drainage issues, and we will do what we can.
You got 4 appointments for Thursday, don't you?
4 confirmed appointments.
Okay.
Does that include me?
That doesn't-
Not me personally, but.
The only thing that I do want to address is, we talked about this via email with the board. I just want to go on record saying I think that the date that the assessment increases went out we needed to be a little more thoughtful given the times that we're in right now. People are in the middle of a pandemic. They went out a couple days after this whole thing blew up, and I really felt like there should have been some more thought in the process of sending those out. They could have waited up to, I think, 10 more days before they needed to get out for her deadline. People were panicked with everything that was going on in the world, and I just felt like our assessor probably should have held off for at least a week. And that's it.
Okay, Howard,
Nothing.
Darcy, okay. Let's see, Doug is excused tonight. I've got a couple things.
He's actually here if he has anything.
Oh, he's there?
He's on Zoom, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, you want to ask him if he has anything to weigh in on?
Can he talk to us?
Highway Superintendent Foster, can you hear us?
Darcy, if you wouldn't mind just passing along that, obviously, we're a little bit short-staffed with every new staffing, and, doing our very best to get caught up. If you feel we've left you behind as far as yard repair or something, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will get to it as soon as we possibly can, doing our very best to get caught up.
We could hear you, Doug.
So reach out to the highway superintendent if you have any yard work concerns.
Okay. Anything else, Doug?
Yeah, Pat's on.
Ken, if you wanna.
Oh, I was just gonna mention that probably is obvious, but highway negotiations for the new contractor on hold until some future date, and we don't know when at this point.
You guys
That's
all.
all.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from our attorney, and I don't think she's heard anything from their side either, so.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, I've got a couple things. This morning's paper, there was an article regarding the kids await the fate of summer camp. As you know, we run a day camp and playground programming, plus the pool. With everything that's going on, I would like this board to be ready to take action, discuss and act on whether or not we're gonna be running our pool this year and our day camp and playground programming. There's a lot of up in the air. Of course, we don't know till we hear from Albany if that's even gonna be allowed or not. They did get their packet from County Health Department yesterday, but they sent a cover letter with it saying, we don't know what's gonna happen, we're just getting this out in case it can happen. They didn't say one way or the other what they thought would happen, so, but I think we need to we gotta give our people time to get the pool ready, and we gotta give our Parks and Rec people time to get the programming ready. They are taking registrations. I've told them to hold the checks. They're not taking any payment by credit card. I've told them to hold the check, so if in fact we do not run the programs or the pool, they will get refunded, and we won't have to refund money and cut checks and everything else. We'll just send them their check back. So, anyway, that's where we're at. So I'd like the board to be prepared to discuss and act on that at our next meeting, regardless of what the state has said or hasn't said. So, there's a lot of liability involved with this if we do run it. There's a lot of guidelines and criteria that we have to meet, and it's quite onerous, the stuff you've got to do. So I don't know how you social distance in a pool. You can't wear a mask. They've already said in school next year, they've got to plan their curriculum based on social distancing. I don't know how you do that in a pool. I don't know how you have a playground program or a day camp. If they do allow it, Heidi's gonna have a maximum of 60 kids, 30 in the lodge, 30 at the pavilion where the bathrooms are, right there as you go down.
Next to the pool.
Next to the pool, yeah, just before the pool on the right. There again, I don't know how you social distance with kids. I don't know how you make them wear a mask. You know, the 30 kids in that lodge, I don't know how you could social distance. It'd be impossible with 30 kids there.
Disinfecting surfaces.
Right, it's gonna be nightly disinfection, everything, so, please be prepared at the next meeting to discuss that and act on it.
Well, right now, I think it's equivalent to all the high school and in-school sports programs that have been cut down. So I think we should follow that pattern.
And that may, very well may be what the state hands down to us, that, no, you can't do it.
I was gonna say it may not be our decision.
Right. Right. I know it may leave some people in a lurch as far as daycare for their kids during the summer, but we have to protect our employees, we have to protect their children, and we've got to protect the town from liability. So it's, you know, it's not a good picture, looking at it and knowing what we know today. So be prepared next meeting, if you would, please, for that. We've received notice of another solar project going in on Gerald Snow's property out in Memphis, which lies between Route 31 and Bennett's Quarters Road and north of the Thruway. Another 5 megawatt solar project going in there. So we seem to be, people like our land for solar projects. I have nothing else. One thing I don't know is how we do citizens' comments on this. It's just Facebook Live. They can't respond back to us, right, Jason?
Yes, I can.
They can?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the comments on Facebook. There is a person that wants the engineer to contact him concerning flooding on Forward Drive. I think it's it's on the Facebook page right now. Andy Benson, I believe is the name.
Okay. Very good. Thanks for passing that along. Any other citizens' comments? No.
Not that I saw.
Okay. Being there's no citizens here, I know there's not. So, Jason, you got anything? Kevin?
I would just like to say it's really good to see you all again. It's been quite a while. You all look healthy. I hope you're all healthy and your families are healthy. And it's just good to get together again after, what, 5-6 weeks. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to get out. So, with that, anyone else got any business come before the board? Yeah, this is Pee Wee's big day out, so, yeah. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn to May 19th at 7 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you all for listening and being patient with us through this time. Okay.